Well, after 4 seasons, Brian Kelly is out as head coach at LSU. Kelly is owed just more than $54 million in his buyout. The news came just a day after the Tigers' 49-25 loss to Texas A&M, and things are getting chaotic. Chip's way. During his time at LSU, Kelly compiled a 34-14 record over just 4 seasons. Kelly now just the latest head coach fired in college football. So right now there are actually 8 Power 4 coaching jobs available, 10 total coaching jobs across college football. Now, for much more on all of this chaos, let's go ahead and welcome in our own Chip Patterson. Chip, it's great to see you. We just showed you that list of obviously the coaching carousel. Let's go ahead and start here in the Big Ten and how kind of different hirings could cause a major domino effect. And let's start in the Big Ten, how UCLA hiring actually James Franklin as their next head coach could create a domino effect in the Big Ten.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, wow, well, James Franklin's already out of a job. Where are the big dominoes? Let me tell you right now. Number one, James Franklin could be great, and I mean great for UCLA. They need a program builder, someone who could lead them out of the darkness, kind of like what he's done at Vanderbilt and Penn State. James Franklin to UCLA. Okay, well, Penn State, they still need a coach, and you're thinking about, oh, maybe it's Matt Rule. No. Maybe they need to go to a team that will be in the college football playoff this year. How about Texas A&M? Why? Because Mike Elko is from New Jersey. Mike Elko won an Ivy League title at Penn. He may be down there with boots on in College Station, but he can be back up in the Northeast real fast if Penn State wants to come calling. Oh no, now Texas A&M's open. Well, maybe there's a coach at USC who's got a little Texas heritage, who maybe likes his brisket a certain type of way. That's right, Texas A&M, they can beep, beep, back up the Brinks truck, and Lincoln Riley gets what he might want, which is a restart the clock type job. So Lincoln Riley is off to Texas A&M. Now USC is open. Oh gosh, is there anybody who maybe wants to get to Los Angeles, who maybe has done a good job with the West Coast school in the Big Ten? Hello, Jed Fish. That's right, you were once an assistant at UCLA. Now you've got an opportunity to get the keys to the kingdom of the USC Trojans. And I think that he doesn't need to have Washington in the college football playoff to be able to sell that. He can show the results that he's already had, and now he'll get that opportunity. So now Washington is open. Oh gosh, who are we going to get to fill Washington? Well, how about one of the best offensive coordinators in the country, who was an offensive coordinator at Washington, who was on the Seattle Seahawks staff? He loves Seattle so much. Ryan Grubb. Come on back to Seattle. You get the Washington head coaching job. And that is how we change so many jobs in the Big Ten, one domino at a time.
Man, if there's anyone that we always have to call when chaos.
He knows.
Yeah, it's Chip Patterson. That's our guy. All right, so you walked us through kind of the Big Ten domino situation. Now let's go to the South, shall we? And Chip Patterson, as you know, it is my absolute honor to mutter these very words. So the South domino effect. If Florida hires Lane Kiffin as their head coach, tell us what then happens next.
Oh, because what Lane Kiffin has done is he has left Ole Miss better than he found it. And that's what Florida's looking for after 1, 2, 3, 4 failed coaching tenures, that Lane Train is the answer. So Lane Kiffin goes from Ole Miss to Florida. Now Ole Miss is open. Well, there is a coach who happens to be one of the rising stars in this industry who I think will be available for the SEC. That means Ole Miss is able to jump right on getting John Summerall up. Yeah, Kentucky, you thought you had him, but no. Ole Miss is in a better position there than Kentucky is. I think Ole Miss gets the John Summerall sweepstakes. Well, now Tulane is open, and Tulane is one of the best jobs in the American. They've got resources. They've got a great talent base. Well, looky here. Hugh Freeze might need a little restart the clock action after what has not been a great tenure at Auburn. Hugh Freeze can step out the side door, head on down to Tulane. Well, now Auburn is open, and there's a former Auburn coordinator who's doing a very, very good job at SMU. That's right, Rhett Lashley. I know he's Arkansas's native son, but if Auburn is open because Hugh Freeze is out, Rhett Lashley is going to be on the list of candidates that Auburn is going to want to talk to. So Rhett Lashley makes the move over to Auburn. And now SMU is open, and that is going to be a fantastic opportunity for Eric Morris. That's the head coach at North Texas. We've seen the Mean Green, and here's the bonus here is that SMU could maybe not only get Eric Morris, but maybe Drew Mestamaker as well, the star quarterback for the Mean Green. So that's how we go from Lane Kiffin to Florida, getting us all the way to the North Texas coach to SMU with lots of changes in between.
All right.
I can't tell Haley. She'll be mad.
No,
She'll be mad at Florida. Yeah, it's all Florida's fault.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be for sure. So we've gone through the big one, of course, and the Big Ten. We've gone through the South. So what about all of the others, Chip Patterson? Tell us the aftermath and the effect it would have on all of the others if Virginia Tech hires Shane Beamer.
There we go. And this is the one that can truly set off dominoes, because Shane Beamer, currently not in a hot seat position necessarily, if he does end up deciding that he wants to go home and take over the program that his father Frank helped build, now all of a sudden we have an SEC job, an interesting SEC job open in South Carolina. So South Carolina is not going to be able to go get a Lane Kiffin, but they're going to look around the region and they're going to find a darn good ball coach right there in Atlanta with Georgia Tech. That's right. You are actually getting an apple off the Nick Saban tree when you get Georgia Tech's Brent Key. He spent 3 years, won 1 national championship, 2 SEC titles as the offensive line coach for the Crimson Tide. That's the kind of thing I think South Carolina can get behind as they look for the future of their program if Shane does end up leaving to go to Virginia Tech. Well, now Georgia Tech is open, and Georgia Tech's looking around, and they're trying to think, well, who are we going to get? I mean, this is a very unique institution. And there's a coach that's recently available who, based on buyout negotiations, might not need to command those $10, $11, $12 million salaries. Hello, Brian Kelly at a discount. Because Brian Kelly at a discount might be willing to come take over a Georgia Tech program that is top 4, top 5 in the ACC with some restrictions, yes, but Brent Key has unlocked what it takes to be successful and compete for conference championships. That would be a good landing spot for Kelly after his exit from LSU. LSU, by the way, still needs to make a hire to replace Brian Kelly. Well, that's when we go back into our best available well, because all of these timelines tie together, y'all. We have not mentioned Eli Drinkwitz's name, and he is part of that no matter what job it is, best available, coach on the rise. Eli Drinkwitz has done a great job recruiting out of high school and out of the portal. That is singing the praises that LSU wants to hear. Come on down to Baton Rouge, Eli. So Eli Drinkwitz gets on down to LSU. Now we need to hire at Missouri. Well, at Missouri, you're looking and you're thinking, okay, Scott Satterfield has done a good job at Cincinnati, did a pretty good job at Louisville as well. Maybe a little bit of a step up for sure. So you get Scott Satterfield over there. And then finally, Cincinnati is open. Now we bring this thing full circle because Mike Denbrock, who, of course, we have been looking at as a star offensive coordinator. He was at LSU under Brian Kelly. He moved up to Notre Dame, done a great job with the Fighting Irish. He was on the staff at Cincinnati as an offensive coordinator. Mike Denbrock, this time back as a head coach, replacing Scott Satterfield, who went to Missouri to replace Eli Drinkwitz, who went to LSU to replace Brian Kelly. And those are all the rest of the dominoes in this chaos scenario.
Chip, you're an absolute machine. And we just went through so many hypothetical should-hire situations, some more realistic than others, right? So out of all of these should-hire situations we just discussed, Chip, which are your favorites? What sticks out to you as something that could actually happen?
I think Eli Drinkwitz at LSU is one that stands out as maybe not discussed a lot, because Lane Kiffin at Florida, to me, comes down to Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss. I will say I understand it. This is the life that you are choosing. If Lane Kiffin wants to be at Florida, then I would think Florida would gladly take him. That's the one that's sort of the no-brainer. But as we're looking at LSU, the idea that Eli Drinkwitz and the work that he has done at Missouri, the experience that he has had, again, both in terms of embracing NIL as it's changing, embracing the transfer portal as it's been changing, and still being a dogged recruiter out of high school, that's the thing that is so important about this LSU job. I think it's one of the 3 best jobs in America, but in order to unlock everything that LSU can do, the kind of things that make it so that only LSU and Ohio State have won 3 national championships under 3 different coaches in the 21st century, the only way you can make it work is if you get that in-state high school recruiting right. I think Drink's done a great job in the state of Missouri. Now, LSU, Louisiana, a little bit different competition than Missouri, but still one of the ones here that I would like to highlight because LSU's the best job available, in my opinion, and Eli Drinkwitz is one of the top candidates, and I feel like that connection hasn't been mentioned a lot.
LSU, the best job available. I'll just move it along. I'm not going to have any comments to say about that. Chip, we appreciate it. Always down to talk a little chaos here with us on CBS Sports HQ. By the way, you can hear Chip on the Cover 3 podcast with Danny Cannell, Bud Elliott, Tom Fornelli. The Upon Further Review episode is in your feed right now. You can watch by scanning that QR code on your screen.
I love that. He's an absolute machine. That was
He
awesome.
is.
More from us on the other side. We're going to try and ring our own Jim Bowden at the break. He might still be sleeping after staying up to watch that wild Game 3 of the World Series. We discuss next.